not sure if you want this information right now, but the Mexico Goliath is officially the biggest race by distance in Horizon history. Good luck.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the weekly Waypoint. Today we're playing Forza Horizon 5! And actually I'll curb my hype a bit because I've been playing it for a few days already. It's not like this is my first time playing it, but this is the Goliath race, which is unlocked. Well, you can pretty much unlock it fairly early on if you want, but usually the Goliath is used as kind of like an end of game event. At least I believe it was in Forza Horizon 3. I can't remember if it was for Forza Horizon 4, so I guess spoilers, but it's just basically a big long race around the entire island. Island. Mexico isn't an island, Christian. It's a big long race around the entire world map, and I thought it showcased pretty well the different biomes and stuff, and I thought it was a pretty fun race to watch too. I mainly wanted to do this race to show off the slight difference in car physics. If the S2 cars look slightly slower to you, it's because I feel like they are. Obviously, like in terms of miles per hour, they're not, they're the same cars, but in terms of how they feel in Forza Horizon 5, they feel slightly slower, but more importantly, much easier to handle. If you saw my race in Forza Horizon 4 a couple of weeks ago, you saw me skidding all over the place, hardly able to control my Lambo. And true, it's a different car, but like I had this problem with Senna as well. In Forza Horizon 4, hypercars are really hard to control. Not so in Forza Horizon 5, and it makes them so much fun to drive. I love it so much. The other night I took that, you'll have to forgive me, I don't remember the name of the car. It's like an Emposione or something. It's a welcome pack car, and it's a hypercar. It's like 998, it's pretty high up there, and although you can obviously upgrade cars, but like the stock it gives you is 998, and I didn't do any objectives. I just drove around Mexico, choosing whichever road I took the fancy of, so like no racing line or anything like that. And if I tried to do something like that in Forza Horizon 4, I would just be skidding all over the place, falling off a road every few minutes, But in Forza Horizon 5, I was able to just drive, and the kind of driving you're seeing now. And it was so fun, like just driving around in a hypercar. Normally if I want to have fun just driving around, I have to choose maybe a supercar, maybe something a little bit less extreme. Again, I'm not a car guy, so if you're cringing right now, I apologise. There's a racing game YouTuber called Hoki Hoshi, and I decided to watch his Forza Horizon 5 upgrade guide, and I was just like, yeah, I don't understand most of these words. Like, it's a good guide, it's easy to follow, and if I really wanted to dedicate myself to learning how to properly upgrade and tune my cars, I could do it through watching that video, but just like through casually watching it, I was like, yeah, I don't know anything about cars. Mexico is amazing in this game. It really made me realise how much of a single biome Great Britain was, or not just Great Britain, the UK was in Forza Horizon 4. Or maybe not entirely a single biome, but like there's so much variety in Mexico, and you're going to see some of it in this video, but not all of it. Like, this is a Goliath event that takes you around the entire map. You don't see every biome, I think, in this video. Like, we don't go up to the volcano at all. Something else that's really delighted me about this game so far is that they've pretty much brought back the Lego bricks system from the Lego Speed Champions DLC they did in Forza Horizon 4, and integrated it into the entire game as an accolade point system. So you might see I actually get some of these throughout the race. They're basically just mini achievements that pop up on the side of a screen, or little objectives to do, and that's what progresses your main campaign. So the things, they basically unlock main chapters for you to go, and like for instance, I unlocked the Goliath race through one of these. You can unlock new Horizon stages, whatever they're called, Horizon Adventures, and you go on expeditions to find the right place to do it, and there's like mini objectives throughout the expeditions. It's like, it really does feel like a step up on an already fantastic formula. I'm not going to talk too much about the game, just because like at the end of the day, besides those improvements I've mentioned, it's more Forza Horizon, and we already know what Forza Horizon is. We already know how great it is, and I'm not going to sit here and talk about a single game for the entire weekly Waypoint, but just know that it's great. I really love it. It deserves the amazing reviews it's getting. It's not without its nitpicks. I don't love the way it's done seasonal PR stunts, in that you have to be in like a specific brand and class of vehicle, which is a bit of a pain in the ass early in the game, but I'm sure that will get easier in time. I'm still working my way towards a second seasonal car, and I'm not sure I'm gonna get it through the PR stunts. There's other means though. But yeah, all in all, bloody love this game. You know what else I bloody love? Animal Crossing, New Horizons, Happy Home Paradise. It's a bit of a mouthful, but that's the name of the DLC. I honestly wasn't sure I was going to bother with this DLC when I saw it. Like, I think it's good, but or at least at launch, I should say. I wasn't sure I was going to bother with it at launch, because there's a lot coming out at the minute, right? But in the end I did decide to get the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion, which is not as bad of a deal here in the UK. And I just as a quick aside, I did try some of the Nintendo 64 games. If there's input lag, I don't notice it, so clearly I'm not as sensitive to input lag as some people are. So when I capture footage like this, I have to swap screen ports to HDMI, because if I play through my Elgato capture on my PC, there is like a second of input delay, and it's horrible for like every game. It reminds me of like cloud gaming, but worse. So I know what input lag is, I'm privy to it, but I don't feel it in those NSO Plus games. I'm not saying it's not there, it's clearly there, but I just don't notice it at all, which I'm pretty thankful for, to be honest. You may have already seen the retro mode video that went up of me playing Ocarina of Time. I do think the NSO Plus or the N64 controls could have been remappable to help combat the fact that some different games aren't going to work as well with different control schemes. Ocarina of Time is essentially unplayable, but Mario Kart 64, Mario Tennis, they're both pretty damn playable. I was tempted to go and buy the retro N64 controller, which a conspiracy theorist would say that's why it's not remappable, because they want you to go and buy it. I don't know, I'm not that cynical. But they're £40, so probably not going to do that, to be honest. But yeah, sorry, I was talking about Animal Crossing. One of the main reasons I got the NSO Plus expansion pass was to get the Happy Home Paradise within the bundle. Obviously you only have access to it for a year, but I'm fine with that. I'll probably keep this up yearly. Or more likely, I won't care about playing Happy Home Paradise after a year, and then I can just grab it again when I do. Obviously it costs more money over time. It's paying rent versus buying a house. It's that argument, but I pay rent. I'm that kind of guy, as you can probably tell from my endless praising of Xbox Game Pass. And besides, I did need to renew my Nintendo Switch Online, so it was actually cheaper for me than just buying the Happy Home Paradise and buying the Nintendo Switch Online. Who cares? I don't need to justify myself. But yeah, first of all, I'm back in Animal Crossing now, so that's pretty fun. I always knew I'd have a stint back in Animal Crossing where I cared about my island again. I always go back to it eventually. Maybe it's not as quick a cycle of, say, playing World of Warcraft, dropping World of Warcraft, and then half a year later picking up World of Warcraft again. Maybe there's usually a year or two between me playing Animal Crossing, but I get back into it eventually. And it's fun to be back on the island of Inkwell. I actually have a video that should have gone up today. Actually, I should probably pause this and go upload that. It should have gone up yesterday, sorry, but yeah, you can go watch the video if you want. I highly encourage it. It's me seeing what the Happy Home Paradise DLC is like, because I never played a Happy Home Designer game, so this is me interfacing with that style of Animal Crossing for the first time. I was never interested in Happy Home Designer because it was a standalone thing, and I thought it looked kind of cool, but it wouldn't really interest me that much. But the fact that Happy Home Paradise is like in the same game as New Horizons, so it's got like you can like buy items from the Happy Home Paradise stuff and take it back to your home island, or you can like redecorate your own villages' houses, or even just the fact that it's within the same game and you don't have to like have separate saves and stuff like that is really appealing to me. I feel like that's what it should have been all along. I've never really played a game like it, so I was worried that it wouldn't necessarily capture me and I would have wasted my money or whatever, but I like hyper-fixated on designing this guy's house for like 2 hours, or it felt like 2 hours anyway. I didn't exactly time it, but at the end he was like, wow, but you sure took a long time doing that. I admire your work ethic. And I was like, thanks mate. That was the second house I did, and it's a kind of thing where I'm not just gonna like do back to back houses. I'm gonna like save it for like, do I feel like designing a house today? Yes, okay, let's go and do that. Besides that though, I am enjoying the base updates as well. I still haven't found Brewster. Apparently if you go talk to Blathers, he'll say something about Brewster and then he shows up on the next Cap'n Island, but Blathers isn't saying anything about Brewster. So I looked that up and people were like, oh yeah, you need to donate like a couple of fish, bugs, and fossils and art pieces or whatever, which I've done. Or you need KK Slider to visit your town for 3-star rating, which obviously I've done. That's like the thing you do at the end of the first 2 weeks, right, to get like your building permit. So I'm kind of confused as to why Blathers isn't talking about Brewster, or maybe you have to find Brewster first and then he talks about him or something. I'm not sure how it works, but I haven't found him yet. And goddammit, I was promised a cute little cafe and I don't have it yet. I'm also slightly broke. I never did finish upgrading my house. I still need to fund a basement and then the storage upgrades or whatever. But yeah, Halves Island is like 100,000 bells per thing, and I'm like, oh no, I don't have that kind of money. So I've decided I'm gonna alternate spending 100,000 bells on my house and then spending 100,000 bells on a thing on Halves Island. So I actually have the Sahara's wallpaper shop opening up today. I haven't gone and seen it yet, but that's the first one I funded. I don't think any of the Halves Island shops are particularly amazing on their own. I feel like when you get them all unlocked, like it'll be a nice place to go to, but to start with it feels a little bit like, oh, which one do I choose? They're all so niche. But I do like that it adds a little bit of extra progression to the game. You're turning Halves Island into kind of like the city from Animal Crossing City Folk. I said on Twitter that this joke only works in Europe, but on the Wii we had Animal Crossing Let's Go to the City, but on the Switch we have Animal Crossing Build Your Own Goddamn City. This is my first time getting back into playing Animal Crossing with my Elgato, so I'm really enjoying the ability to just react to things in the game. Before I would like maybe screenshot it, but then you'd have to worry about quitting out, going to the screenshots, typing all the stuff in on the slow keyboard, uploading it to Twitter, that kind of thing. But now I can just like have an actual genuine reaction to something and clip it and put it in a video, which is obviously why I love doing this kind of thing. So yeah, it's been a pretty good week in gaming, hasn't it? Got Forza Horizon 5, got Animal Crossing Happy Home Paradise, got the Nintendo 64 library, whatever people think of it, I am enjoying it. And I still plan to keep exploring it, making videos in it and stuff like that. And then next week, I believe it's next week, we've got GTA San Andreas Definitive Edition, which I'd be lying if I didn't say I was really excited for. It's always been something in my mind where I'm like, yeah, I guess GTA, fine. It's not like one of my favourite game series, but it's definitely one of my, I hesitate to say childhood game series, because I played GTA San Andreas on the PS2 back in the day, and it'll be fun when it comes to Game Pass on, I believe, the 11th in 3 days, to go in, see what's changed. If they really have updated the controls to be better, I might actually play through the story, which is something I never tend to do in GTA games, but it might be fun to do that. I do feel like I don't trust Rockstar with the Game Pass thing, considering I believe multiple times they've had GTA 5 on there and then just ripped it back out after like 2 or 3 months or something incredibly short. So I'm gonna play San Andreas the second it hits Game Pass, just in case they do that again. I feel like the reason they did that for GTA 5 though was to encourage people to spend microtransactions on the game, and then suddenly they don't have the game anymore, and it's like, oh great, we're gonna need to go and buy the game now because it's not on Game Pass anymore, which is very scummy, but it's something Take-Two would absolutely do. Whereas GTA San Andreas at least shouldn't have any microtransactions in it, so maybe they won't do it with San Andreas, I don't know. Vice City was definitely the one I spent the most time in. I don't plan on buying the new Definitive Trilogy because again I'm not that crazy hyped about it, and I do have the trilogy on PS4, which I was going to be playing all the way through. I made a couple of videos in GTA 3, or maybe just a single video, but I think my problem was starting with a worse one, GTA 3. Apparently people tend to think that's the weakest one of the trilogy, so yeah, I remember I had some issues where I was trying to like 100% missions on the starter area because of achievements, or trophies, sorry, but I couldn't, because once you get to a certain point in the story, I don't think it's a spoiler to say, it becomes harder to get what you want to get done in that first starter area because people start shooting at you on sight. So yeah, it makes it a lot harder to do things like taxi missions, because your taxi is getting shot, and then it'll take too much damage and explode, and there's not really any easy way of dodging bullets in a car, so I got quite frustrated with that, and instead of progressing the story, just kind of gave up on it. I don't think I'm going to make that mistake in San Andreas. I think I'm just going to play it like any other game and not worry about achievements. I'll do another run if I want to do achievements, or I don't know what the achievements even are. Maybe I could just go back and polish off achievements later on, but yeah, I'm going to play San Andreas for the game, not the achievements. Oh, I should have mentioned here, I wasn't sure if I needed a bit of extra footage, so I just kind of hung around, did a danger sign, took a look at the car close up in photo mode to show you the graphics, enjoyed the car porn. Oh, and one last quick thing at the end, I finally started watching Squid Game, because my god, people will not stop going on about Squid Game, and yeah, fair enough. I watched the first episode. It's pretty compelling. I'm watching it in subbed mode, and I'm enjoying it quite a lot so far. It's always interesting to watch something from another country, because we're so westernized and Americanized with the kind of stuff we get fed, so it's interesting to see something from Korea, and it's good to see something from another country gaining so much popularity. But anyway, that's it for this episode. I'll see you next week.